So, we're on Sun Tzu's Art of War, an ancient Chinese text, and this section is called Weak Points and Strong. So, we got a nice, beautiful picture here, very colorful. Look at that. Very, very interesting. Okay. So, Sun Tzu said, "Whoever is first in the field and awaits the coming of the enemy will be fresh for the fight. Whoever is second in the field and has to hasten to battle will arrive exhausted." So think about that. It's like offense versus defense, kind of in a sense. So you being there, locked and loaded, ready, waiting for them to arrive. Your soldiers have time to, gather their thoughts and prepare. Whereas if you're like, okay, we gotta march this, we gotta hustle, let's go. They're going, and they're like, okay, there's a battle over there, let's go. You know, that is true that you'll be a tad bit more, your energy will be less. Therefore, the clever combatant imposes his will on the enemy, but does not allow the enemy's will to be imposed on him. Yes. By holding out advantages to him, he can cause the enemy to approach of his own accord. So, holding out advantages, maybe making it look like there's an advantage to draw them out, to bring them closer. Or by inflicting damage, he can make it impossible for the enemy to draw near. So, that'd probably be by like archers, most likely, within a certain distance. Or, I'm not sure if at these particular warriors at this time used that catapult type weapon where you put a stone, you can light a piece of cow dung and hay on fire, and then it catapults and throws that ball into the field, and it like rolls and catches everything on fire. So that could be a tool that would prevent them from bringing their infantry closer in. But it depends. I wonder. I have a book that has different soldier uniforms throughout the ages. I'd have to look up what the Chinese had at this time in terms of like heavy artillery, I guess you could say, or heavy siege weapons, or what type of technology they used at that time. But that could be an example of inflicting damage on the enemy so that they can't come close to you. If the enemy is taking his ease, he can harass him. If well supplied with food, he can starve him out. If quietly encamped, he can force him to move. Okay, let's think about that. So, if the enemy's relaxing, you can harass them and make them so they're not at ease, kind of make chaos within the camp. Okay? If well supplied with food, he can starve them out, meaning that would be for a siege then, usually. Um you have enough food in your own camp to feed your soldiers. You can surround the enemy so that they have to, they can't go out and scavenge and hunt or have any, I don't know, food brought in. So eventually, hunger will take them over and do most of the work for you. If quietly encamped, he can force him to move. That could also be if you are quiet in the camp and you don't have like huge rowdy celebrations in the night with the soldiers drinking and whoring, um, then maybe they can make you move. I'm not sure how being quiet could be used to make them move their camp. Now I could see if you are quiet yourself and you're moving your camp so the enemy can't detect you and find where you are to destroy your camp, that could make you more popular. Or you could also put them on the chase, right? They could, if you are quiet with your camps, they would be constantly looking for you, and they would therefore have to keep moving their camp to find where your camp is. If their scouts were not that great at finding where your camp was, so it depends, really. Appear at points which the enemy must hasten to defend. March swiftly to places where you are not expected. The element of surprise, right? And appear at points which the enemy must hasten to defend. That could be a grain supply storage area. That could be a religious area. Could be the actual palace itself. An army may march great distances without distress if it marches through country where the enemy is not. Well, yeah, I mean, that goes without saying. You can be sure of succeeding in your attacks only if you. No, wait, no. You can be sure of succeeding in your attacks if you only attack places which are undefended. Well, yeah, that goes without saying. You can ensure the safety of your defense if you only hold positions that cannot be attacked. Yeah, so mountain passes would be a good place for that. Hence, that general is skillful in attack whose opponent does not know what to defend. So your enemy not knowing what to defend can actually help you be more skillful in making and formulating your own attack. O divine art of subtlety and secrecy. Through you we learn to be invisible, through you inaudible. And hence we can hold the enemy's fate in our hands. Again, so silently moving your camp, that makes me think of the last passage about the camp, and then being silent, not always, letting your enemy know where you are. Depends how you want to intimidate, because I could see how you'd always be like, we're so swift and moving, it makes the enemy panic, like, where are they? However, if you do think about it, if you did have an enemies who were like roaring, right? If you had like and all those soldiers going like like that could also unnerve, your enemy, right? So depends on your strategy too, I'd say. You may advance and be absolutely irresistible if you make for the enemy's weak points. You may retire and be safe from pursuit if your movements are more rapid than those of the enemy. If we wish to fight, the enemy can be forced to an engagement even though he be sheltered behind a high rampart and a deep ditch. All we need to do is attack some other place that he will be obliged to relieve. So basically draw him out. That's what I get from that. If we do not wish to fight, we can prevent the enemy from engaging us even though the lines of our encampment merely trace out on the ground. All we need to do is throw something odd and unaccountable in his way. If you don't want to fight, so maybe like a distraction, but what would you throw out and unaccountable at their way if you have an enemy encampment? One could send in concubines. You never know. Like, here's some women concubines. Go get distracted. We don't want to fight. And then find a way to retreat or find a way to attack them as the generals are indulging their lust. You can send in an enemy. I don't know. That'd be a little difficult to say. What would it be, though? Doesn't say. By discovering the enemy's dispositions and remaining invisible ourselves, we can keep our forces concentrated while the enemy must be divided. We can form a single united body while the enemy must split up into fractions. Hence there will be a whole pitted against separate parts of a whole, which means that we shall be many to the enemy's few. Well, wait a minute. Indeed, if your one force is, okay, here's this divided part, I conquer it. Here's this divided part, I conquer it. However, if you think about it, if you have your own mass in the circle, and then you have a small part here, a small part there, a small part here, a small part there, they all kind of collapse into the center. I could see that being a ways in which the few could defeat the many concerning being divided. So it depends. And if we are able to thus attack an inferior force with a superior one, our opponents will be in dire straits. Well, yes. The spot where we intend to fight must not be made known, for then the enemy will have to prepare against a possible attack at several points. So don't like automatically just say, okay, meet me on the battlefield, this spot, there and there. Okay. And his forces being thus distributed in many directions, the numbers we shall have to face at any given point will be proportionally few. Ah, I see. Okay, so let's say you have the borders of your area, right? And the person you're fighting thinks, well, obviously they're going to attack this border, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain all these people out along the pass, and I can only put 4 rows each all the way across, and then the enemy is going to attack, take out one part. There won't be that many, it'll be few, and then they can like get into your area that way through your wall, because the rest of the army is dispersed along a linear border. That's one way in which I think this example would make sense. What do you think, family? For should the enemy strengthen his van, he will weaken his rear. Oh. Should he strengthen his rear, he will weaken his van. Should he strengthen his left, he will weaken his right. Should he strengthen his right, he will weaken his left. If he sends reinforcements everywhere, he will everywhere be weak. Let me think about that. So you got your soldiers here. They're kind of just dispersing out, right? Oh, we need you here, we need you here, we need you there. And if you have maybe a solid square maybe formation just marching solely in, they can pile drive through maybe, and then the soldiers on the other part of the square be able to hack away at all parts and slowly move forward. I wonder what that would look like. Numerical weakness comes from having to prepare against possible attacks. Numerical strength from compelling our adversary to make these preparations against us. Knowing the place and the time of the coming battle, we may concentrate from the greater distances in order to fight. Well, he just said here, on 16, the spot where we intend to fight must not be made known, yet he's saying, knowing the place and time of the coming battle, we may concentrate the greatest distance in order to fight. So you, at the same time, you need to not know where it is for the enemy, but at the same time, if you do know, you can concentrate your efforts. That also seems a little bit like he needs to really explain that a little bit more, I'd argue. Those two seem kind of contradictory in a way. What do you think, family? Alright, point it off here, cut it off here, because I don't want it to freeze. Alright, family, what do you think? The art of war!